purposes today, we generally just need the 75 centimeter measuring stick because that's what we use to know what distance to go down here. Okay, but of course we still have the other one, the 60 centimeter measuring stick. Of course, we also have our terrain ropes that we made yesterday. Remember? How long were they? 25 meters. They were 25 meters. So we'll use the 25 meter dimensions for the 60 centimeter terrain rope and the 75 centimeter terrain rope.
We did 3.
Did we do 3? Yes, we did 3. Okay. So these are both 60s. How do we confirm? By measuring. So we need one for 60 and one for 75. So let's just check what we have.
Did you do one for 75?
No. We didn't? They're all 60?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other one could be still in the office. Mugo. Yes. Kuna kamba pale kwa meza. Okay. Kama unasaidia kuleta. Because I think if we ended up using both of them, somebody will remember the two ropes were marked at 60. Yes. And then you'll put the 60 at the baseline and the 60 on the other side so that we are just sure what we're doing. So if all of them are 60, we'll need just one of them. All right, so what are the key things in terms of laying out? Number one, we determine the baseline. And what did we say the baseline is? The head of the slope. The top side of the slope, that becomes the baseline. And you sometimes really want to align it. Probably with it works well if it can be aligned. Like in this instance, it can easily be aligned. But if it isn't, then still determine the longest section in your farm that you can use as the baseline. Again, because we are using what? A square. All right? We are working in squares, always. So you choose the largest section that you can use with your terrain rope as long as it fits you down. So you choose your baseline. Generally speaking, again, we will work backwards. So key things to remember. Baseline, working backwards. The 60 centimeter terrain rope goes where?
We're looking for 75. Okay, plain one.
Where does the 60 centimeter terrain rope go?
The one we did here.
On the baseline. Along the contour. Along the contour. The contour is basically a line. I sometimes think about it as an imaginary line, but the biggest, the highest level, then you want to go. Okay. So we will participate, and I want all of us to be active in this. And when we move together. I don't want some of us moving like this, and some of us on the phone, because if we don't get it here, we will not remember it wherever we will be. Okay. So one peg will be used here, the other peg will be used here. If I just reflect back on what we learned in the morning, there'll be one peg on this edge, one peg on the under, and those are what we are calling pegs just to hold the terrain rope. But then eventually, once we've laid it out straight, we will put permanent pegs on the first mark and the last mark on the 60 centimeter terrain rope. It's very different. The way I've explained it is quite different from saying we'll put the rope and then we put a peg and then we put another peg. I've been trying to identify specifically what we shall use and where we shall put what we shall use. Okay, so one peg goes down on one end of the contour line. The other peg goes out and stretches the 60 centimeter terrain rope to the other end. And then we have two permanent pegs, one placed on the first mark, and then the other permanent peg placed on the other mark. But we also remember that it is on the upper side. It is not on the lower side, it is on the upper side of the first and the last mark. Okay? All right. So laying out, I've also carried, by the way, a newspaper. And why did you say we need the newspaper or any other material that is square?
Rectangle.
We need to square off at some point 90 degrees. Okay. So here we go. I'm just going to use nails for now. Initially. I hope this can stretch. If I could ask one person to just help stretch this so that we are sure it goes out. So this becomes my kind of first corner.
Maybe explain where you see the slope. Maybe other people see a different slope.
Yeah, it's true. I see the slope this way.
Yeah.
That's the downside. This is the upper side.
It is evident.
Okay. My brother has said it is evident. It is not evident for many people. And in fact, in Kijabe, we sometimes get to arguments as to which is the upper side and which is the lower side. Whenever we have people coming in for training, we actually ask them the same question. And we quickly see that there is no agreement. But I think we can consider this to be our baseline, this being the upper side. All right?
So are we looking at the whole of this field as our?
We are looking at, this is where we are setting up our square. This is where we are beginning. Supposing our field goes all the way to the corner, but this is where we are setting up our biggest square. Okay. So what did we say happens at the end? The guy holding it at that end, it needs to be stretched and it needs to be tight enough. This doesn't seem to have gone down deep. Okay. Okay, hold on a while before.
Do you have several nails? You put two.
I've only put one here. We'll put,
It is moving.
yeah, that's fine, that's okay. So if I could ask him to stretch it a little bit, and then somebody maybe can help us on the other end, once we feel comfortable.
You need to confirm the 16 with the
Yes, that's another good point. We need to confirm it is 60. Okay, sawa.
Unajua kitunguu isipanda moja ikiwa moja ikupo. Si ndio? Yeah, sasa no matter what you are planting, you smell.
Kaza.
Kaza kabisa.
Kaza.
Wewe chukua trakta.
How do you know that it's Yes, your eyes.
Yeah, just use your eyes. And we don't want too many people holding just one person. Because if you have 6 people holding
Sasa haijakasika kwa sababu ya wale wanashika pale. Angalia ukianguka chini.
right now, there's too many people holding. We don't want to hold it.
Lazima ikiwe na hiyo siji. Stretch inaanza kupita hiyo.
Are we together? Right, so let's move. Everybody take one step behind. Yeah, just one step. One step behind.
Hey, come on.
Not taking a step.
Okay.
Do not take a step.
One step. Now, what do we do next? We are going to have our permanent peg on the first and last. So,
Patia huyu nafasi anapiga.
Nyundo.
Tafadhali.
Hapo unaona?
So we have our permanent peg, first permanent peg here. It's not going deeper than that, and I don't want to crush my fingers. But I'll leave it there.
We can just explain them understand.
Okay, we are. That's fine. That's perfect. Right?
So if you go deep,
On the upper side in the middle.
hapa ni hard.
Sorry.
On the upper side in the middle.
Yeah. So it is right in the middle of the thing, and we try to make it. I think Griffin is reminding us. It has to go just to a small. It has to go deeper. No, it should still be visible, but at least you, as the owner, will be able to notice where it is. To the general onlooker, they might not even know. They might not even see it, because you'll have mulch.
Because if you live like this, somebody can end up pulling it.
Yeah.
Samuel can come and tie a goal.
Utasikia mtu akibarua atang'oa hivi.
So kama so
Ideal length, I think if you look at how much depth do you normally use? I will even use 5 to 10.
10 centimeters.
But you cannot go in there because
Okay.
it's a medical.
All right, so let's move to the other side and do the second
Nakata chuma.
the second one. So first and last planting station.
Ile chuma then tuweke plastic ndio isiumize.
tabeba
Yeah,
gazeti.
tutembee na kila kitu.
Okay. Kila mtu ashike kitu cha kutembea nacho.
So this is the first chuma.
Kwani alilifia? Sikia kuja hapo kwa picha.
You understand the concept? We set our first planting station, on the contour line and the baseline. And then what we now want to do, because we're not doing the whole thing, if you remember, we're basically setting it up. And next time around,
Tusonge hivi tutaona
Sisi wote tunaona.
okay, there's a question if you could listen.
So if you're not doing the whole
Yeah.
How will?
you're not going to
We are only laying it out. The planting will be done at the point in time when the planting will be done. But just for purposes for you to understand, this permanent peg tells us where the first and the last planting station will be. All right?
No, I understand. No, you have to make them. Our first thing has come, but for whatever reason, we are not able to do it. So
Okay.
we got postponed. So how do you plan to do it?
Okay, I wish to beg that we go step by step. So now we finish the layout, then we will understand how to do the planting. In fact, the planting we will be able then to do tomorrow. But at least at the tail end of this exercise, this is just the layout, all right? And we said we want to achieve a perfect square, identifying where our field is going to start and where our field is going to end. Okay, so at least we've established our first, our baseline, all right? What we now want to achieve is how to make a 90-degree angle. And we will make 90 degrees on two ends, on this edge and on that edge. Are we together?
Yes.
Because achieving that 90 will allow us then to move downward. But it is not just an issue of achieving 90 degrees and we leave it hanging in the air. It is for purposes also of allowing us to achieve the optimal kind of harvest we could get on this piece of land and ensuring that we are not leaving anything to wastage. No spaces wasted. Every spacing, as we have seen, 60s and 75s, will allow us to utilize every square that we can get within the 60s and 75s within the entire field. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, we will then now. Another question? Okay. This is where my 90 comes. And it doesn't have to be this newspaper if it is a community that doesn't read newspapers, or newspapers don't even get there. It can be your booklet. I think Chris was mentioning of a certain A4 size note that talks about the whole procedure for maize on one side and the beans. Okay, that's what you really need to use. But I normally like using this just for purposes of demonstrating, so that people can see, even those who are far, how the newspaper or the document or whatever it is actually being used. So again, we will need the other rope.
The unmarked run?
This is not marked.
No, we don't
have the 75.
you don't have to have one.
Do you have to have a marked 75 centimeter turn rope? No. You don't have to.
When you're going down.
You don't have to. Because we have what we call what? A measuring stick that you can actually use going down. Okay?
It's okay, but you don't have to.
It's okay, but we don't have it.
Exactly.
You can. And again, you have the option of putting mats along the way, going down. It is an option that you have. Okay? That's a 61, yeah. Somebody help me just get this out so that we save time. It's a little bundles. You can get one edge. Yeah, the questions can come as we proceed. Yes.
Going back to the slope.
Yeah.
If your line is depressed what do you do? Do you have like two squares? One square going down on one side, the other square going down the other side?
I think the way I would answer that is how large is that parcel that is that way? Generally speaking, a lot of our lands, if they're going in one, they're elevated in sections that you can walk throughout. But in the event you have like 10 acres or 15 or 20, and it is a valley, and it is something you cannot level, and you really don't have to level it, I would probably walk two ways. Yeah, stop on the head of one, come down, and start on the head of the other and come down. Yeah. But if it is just 2 meters or 6 by 6, like we'll do the well-watered garden, it is easy to level it. Yeah. Sure. What if it is stony? A stony field may need a different approach, because that is not really pertinent to the idea of squaring. That requires probably restoring, so that eventually the stones, number one, they need to be taken away if there are so many. But you need to build up your soil over the course of time. So it is not something you'll wake up and say, today I want to do farming also in this stony area. Yeah. I'm sure there is places you can do farming. There are places you can't even do farming. Yeah. Okay, so again, if we could leave some room here for movement, so that we can lay out the
Well, yeah, did you explain? There's two layouts. Yes. We're doing the layout when we'll come back and hold later, or we could do the as you go.
So as you go,
Tomorrow we'll do as you go. Tomorrow we will do as you go.
okay,
Right? Today we're doing field layout, permanent pegs, so we find them. Was that your plan, Anthony?
Yes.
Do it this way? Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so we have, yes, it's just a return to what we do. So where is our person at the other end? Now, for the sake of the guys who are standing here, let's also give room. You won't miss anything if you stand 5 meters away.
Let's come back a bit and give more people a chance to see.
Because I also want them to see, I want them to see what I'm doing. Just hold on a while. Okay, let's get some order first, yeah? Let's have a V.
Exactly.
Let's have a V so that the guys here can see what we're doing, and those guys can also see what we're doing.
You see from this.
These people,
You guys
further away.
Hey, this thing.
Mzee utasonga nyuma kidogo, na tuweze kuona. Okay.